Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are all doing absolutely amazing. I'm making a phenomenal recording today with my good friend and business partner, my brother, Almighty KAZ from Twitter, the absolute sales god. I have been astonished and silenced many times over. I've been closing sales for years, but the amount that I can learn from this dude over here is absolutely psychotic. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Kaz.
What's up, guys? Glad to be here.
Glad to have you here, homie. So, Kaz, the way we're going to be doing this call right now is we're going to do a little bit of a conversation. I have about five, six questions that I want to ask you that are going to, that we can dive in deeper with micro questions in between each of them. And we can just go ahead and communicate based off of our experiences back and forth and any tips that you have that you can share with us as well.
Let's do it, bro.
Cool. Let's jump right into this. So, how do you structure a sales call?
Right. So that's probably the most important thing that comes about when anyone asks anything about sales. The first thing is the way I structure it is I don't really have something that I'm going to ask exactly. I have like a general understanding of which way I'll go, but typically it's question based, very heavily question based. And I will use those questions to craft an offer on the fly. And then I'll deliver the offer. The way I structure it is that I have some key points that I want to get out of the prospect, which is urgency, what is their budget, what is their decision makers, what are their decision makers, and what are some possible objections they might find. I might think that they might throw away. I'm going to try to get those out of the system. Now, I don't have like, okay, I have to get urgency before budget. I have to get budget before decision makers. None of that. Typically what happens is I like to make the sales call as conversational as possible. So I'll start off with questions and I'll see where they lead me into. If they lead me into something, they're complaining about budget early on, then I'll quickly use that and be like, oh, really? Like, so just out of the blue here, like what exactly is like something you're comfortable with here? This might not be set in stone, but I'll just get that kind of understanding from the get-go. Or they'll be like, oh man, we've been working on, let's say, this project and trying to find a solution for 6 months. Then I know it's my cue to get the urgency stuff out of the way. Like, okay, so you've been working for 6 months. Are you going to go another 6 months? Or are you going to do you want to go another 6 days? Or do you want to get some solution within 6 hours? So these are the key points that I look for in the call. And the way I look for them is if there's anything relevant that I can tie back to this topic, I will always bring it up immediately. I won't wait for the last second. So typically it goes on questions, and those topics will be sprinkled into the questions. Then I will craft my offer with the 3 key points or 4 key points that they give me throughout the questions and tailor it accordingly. And then I'll deliver the offer. And most likely they won't have any objections. I want to handle the objections before. And that's through questioning the right things and answering them. So afterwards, they can't be like, oh, you didn't answer this because you already did. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, the way I'm basically doing my sales calls is I actually pre-qualify them, right? I use Twitter, so it's a little bit different than people who are cold email outreaching or getting inbound leads and all as well. But I have the Twitter account and I have a form where I actually ask people questions to pre-qualify them, and through that pre-qualification, I retouch up on those questions on the call, and I use those questions to actually jab them in and get those cues that you're talking about and those pain points and leverage that to create the custom offer. Do you have some sort of qualification process as well for your calls?
Right. What you're doing is basically inbound, right? And when you do inbound, you have a significant amount of leverage over the client's interest or the prospect's interest. If you're doing outbound, let's say, for example, cold email, LinkedIn, Facebook groups, whatever it may be, if you're doing those and if you send a potential prospect who doesn't know you existed like 5 minutes ago, a very detailed form, I can pretty much guarantee you 9 times out of 10, they're going to ghost you. And it's not even like they're not a serious prospect or not. It's basically they just don't know you well enough to care that much where they spend 10 minutes going to a form. So the best way I have found is when you do like, let's say very cold outreach, you want to get them onto a quick intro call, like call it a 5-minute intro call, call it a 10-minute intro call. And in that intro call, you just basically take what the questions you want to ask in the form and then put that into the call itself. It's quick and easy, and it gets the job done. And then you want to book for a much deeper call, which is like a 30-minute or 45-minute call, call it a strategy call, or call it a demo call, whatever it is. So that's the way I like to structure it. But every time there's inbounds, we always send like a form first thing, and we can get an idea. And then we skip the intro call and go directly into the actual sales call itself.
Okay, so in that cold email, how do you get them into an intro call? Because I know a lot of people who just deny it. Do you just say like, hey, you ready for a quick, like to hop in a quick chat, 5-minute chat, whatever it is? How do you get like majority of people actually jumping in that call with you?
Right. So when you do the cold email, the response from the cold email should be that they want to get on a call with you. That's not the main problem from your side. If they don't say they don't want to get on a call with you, then that means that your cold email wasn't good enough. You weren't showing enough of the fact that you can help them out through your previous client work, or through enough, interest or intrigue that you should have on the opening email. So typically what happens is that with a cold email, the response is like, hi, interested. Looking for a call, or something like along those lines. They're showing interest. At that time, what the newbie mistake is, people send their fucking Calendly link. No one's going to look into a Calendly link, and like they will, but there's a huge chance of drop off. Or people send their intake form or something like that. It's cold email, man. You can't go like you can't go and ask for so much commitment from somebody. The best way to go about it in that situation is when they say interested, you just say like, hey, how does Monday at 2 p.m. sound? Most of the time, they'll either say yes, or they'll say, no, Monday is bad. How does Tuesday? And then you say, okay, Tuesday, 4 p.m. Then you take their email, you take their phone number, or whatever information you have, and you make a booking on your Calendly yourself. That way, you're mitigating so many drop-off points. And we tried this with our agency. Our response rate skyrocketed, as well as our booking rate skyrocketed.
Okay, sounds absolutely beautiful. And for those who don't know, KAZ actually owns Estate Media House. Estate Media House is the greatest copywriting and funnel creation agency I've ever come across. These guys are converting ridiculous numbers for top tier clients, 7, 8-figure, and 9-figure brands as well. And his agency right now, like I think the average close is about $15,000 roughly. So KAZ, what tips have you learned throughout the years, knowing that like you're able to close in a 45-minute fucking call, $15,000 USD? Do you have any tips that you can share with us?
Yeah. I think the most important thing is, and this is going to be going against everybody's scripts and tricks and all that stuff, it's that you got to believe in what you sell. I tried to sell stuff before that I didn't believe in, and my conversion rates were atrocious. I have a phenomenal team. Like the EMH team is just fantastic altogether. And I know like every time a client comes through, they're going to get literally their money's worth, and they're going to get way more than they paid for. Like one of the clients, like you said, we helped them with something and it was just a 15K deal. They're going on and pretty much printing cash at this moment. I think they just hit like a 7-figure a month using our funnel. So I genuinely believe in what we have to offer. So that really helps a lot. And the second thing itself is the fact that you have to be as outcome independent as possible. I have had like a streak of maybe 80 sales calls that I did not get a close, like 80, probably like more than that, but I think around 80.
Yeah.
And during those 80 sales calls, I didn't get a single fucking close. And the reason for that is I was so hell bent on making sure I get a close. I was so needy. I was in a financial hole myself, and I was just like, man, I have to close this or I'm not going to pay rent. I have to do this or I'm going to be in such a shitty situation. So the prospects feel that. They know exactly what's going on, and coupled that with I wasn't believing in what I sold, like close rates were just abysmal. And that's the first thing you got to do. If you want to sell something, find a product, find a service that you truly believe can help the client out. And most of the time that will do a lot for you. You will just radiate that onto the prospect, and they'll understand that, okay, this guy knows what the fuck he's talking about. This guy knows that he can help me. And then on top of that, the benefit of that is if you know that, Right. For example, right now, if a client, let's say, for example, in the SaaS world where we're getting very heavily invested in, they come to us and they don't want to get our funnel for their SaaS or our landing pages for their SaaS, whatever. I genuinely do not give a fuck because it's their loss. We know how we can convert, and that's because that gives me that outcome independence because I believe in what we have. So those are probably the two most important things for me.
So you reframed it for these guys to want you and you don't care about wanting them. More people are going to come to you no matter what. So that reframe is now radiating that energy throughout them on the call, and you can easily walk away with fucking ease, but other people aren't able to walk away, bro. That's a huge fucking move. There's no desperation. There's no desperation in the conversation anymore from your side.
Right, exactly. Like, to give you an example, like the other day, someone got on a call with me and they're like, well, you have to show me like your previous work. And I actually showed them some previous work, and there's like, well, we want to see more previous work and all this and that. And they're being very difficult, right? And I'm telling them like, look, I can show you some of the work because there's no NDAs on it. And there's some other work that there's NDAs. I'm not going to like disrespect my client's trust in me and just try to get a new client. So I basically told them like, look, I can't do this. If you want to get on board the way I'm telling you, you can get on board, or you can just fuck off. And I mean that like not in a disrespectful way. It's just the way that I genuinely cannot convince someone to do something that they don't believe in, and I can't believe in either. So it's either you get what I'm telling you that you're gonna get, and you have to put the faith in me, or it's not. Like I'm not gonna go back and forth and just chase hours after hours circling around the same thing. I can walk away anytime, and it's liberating.
Fucking genius, absolute genius, bro. And one stupid question that so many people ask, and I'm actually confused about this myself, is do you do a sales call with your camera on or off? Because let me give you some like a little bit of a backstory for this, because we know communication is only 7% words, and the rest is your body language and your tonality. So if your camera's off, you got the words, you got the tonality, but there's no body language. But if you have your camera on, you can mirror them. You can follow them. You can take them on a journey, get them to trust you, and then take lead in the conversation immediately.
Dude, on top of that, if you're handsome as fuck, you should be going on camera. Like I've tested it, and my stuff skyrocketed when I did video. Like there's no reason to be good looking and not be on the camera. It literally saw significantly. And there's a fun joke. Every EMH client prospect that's a woman like is automatically funneled to me for the sales call because I have to go on video, and the conversions are higher that way. Like it's everyone should be on video. Like that's a no-brainer.
Okay, that's a go. I've had too many people, even on Money Tour, everyone's like, nah, man, just do a phone call, do a phone call. I don't think I've ever closed a deal without my camera on in a while, man. But because you get that personality, that one-on-one basis touch, bro. It's a huge move.
Yeah, I mean, I have closed without camera, don't get me wrong, but it's so much easier to earn someone's trust and rapport
When they can see a physical person there, not a dude sitting in a cubicle named Pajit in India.